Coach in the first varsity team history of Kenner Discovery School. It's in Kenner, in case you didn't know. That's the name. Building the school as we speak. Great facilities, outstanding school, and he's an outstanding coach. The Swamp Owls have 6 wins already, clinched a winning season in their first year of varsity football. Quite an accomplishment. He played at John Curtis Christian School. The Swamp Owls will play Haynes on Thursday night at Joe Yenny Stadium. Please give a warm quarterback compliment to Coach PJ Sprunk of Kenner Discovery. PJ.
Good afternoon, everybody. First off, Ken, thanks for that wonderful introduction, and thanks for the Gino Quarterback Club for having me today. It's truly an honor and a privilege to be up here with such a prestigious group of young men. I tell you what, this past year and a half has been nothing short of incredible. As a new program, as you can imagine, we get a lot of questions. And I'll try to nail down 3 that I've heard the most over the last year and a half. And number 1 is, what type of difficulties or adversity do you face starting with a new program from the ground up? Number 2, what do you attribute your team's recent success to? And number 3, Coach, what in the heck is a swamp owl? And that's probably the one I've gotten the most. And our head of school, Dr. Patty Glazer, who's in attendance today, when she was going through the process of starting school, and she wanted to have a mascot that was a little bit different, something that no one had ever saw or heard of before, but something that was fierce. And an owl is an animal that when it's around, all other animals know. But it quietly goes amongst its business and it's fierce. We use that as an omen for our football team. And we're building something from the ground up, rising from the water, and we want to be these fierce competitors, whether people know about us or not. We want to keep on moving. So we're using that as an omen for our football team. As far as the adversity, when you're a first-year program, a lot of things, I could sit here and talk about hours for things that we don't have or things that we will have. But I'll just kind of give you a little bit of a background of the story. When I was hired in May of 2018, our athletic director, Gerald Fisher, let me first start by saying that we have an absolutely supportive and amazing staff from the coaching staff on up. As I told you, Dr. Glazer is a true advocate of prep sports. Our principal, who is also in attendance tonight, Ms. Candy Schott, was actually a former coach. And our athletic director has been a director in Jefferson Parish for over 30 years. So we have a great staff and a great support system. And talking to Coach Fisher, when I stepped on campus, our first team meeting, we didn't have any coaches or anything yet. And he told me that, over the last couple of years, these kids have really been bothering him about football. Coach, when are we getting a team? Coach, when are we getting a team? When are we getting a coach? And we had our first team meeting, about 28 kids showed up. And I didn't know any of these kids. It's a brand new school coming over from Bonneville, and I wasn't sure if they quite knew yet what it would take to play high school football, or what it would, if they had the right mentality, or if they were just there because they wanted to be a part of something. So at that point, we had a bunch of kids who were already committed to summer league basketball and summer league baseball because they didn't know our football schedule yet. So I never forget this to the last day on this earth. Our first practice, we had 13 kids. And I said, oh boy, it's going to be a lot harder than I thought. But, when that practice was over, I found out how special this place was. Because we put those kids through the ringer. Now I'm out there barking at them, and they're taking it. They're taking constructive criticism. I'm putting my arm around and say, hey, it's going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And they just kept showing up, kept coming back. And slowly but surely, every day, we had a new kid coming from another sports program. Went into our JV season last year with about 34 kids. Our first game, we got beat pretty bad. We were young. A lot of these kids hadn't played football before. But every week you could see them improving and just starting to genuinely care and use their full heart for this game. And we ended up going 2-7 last season as a JV team. We lost our last 4 games by a combined 10 points. But as I said, these kids just kept coming back, just kept coming back. So we attacked this all season with a mentality of we want to be in the playoffs this year. That's our goal, playoffs and beyond. We didn't want to just roll a team out and say, hey, look, we're a new team, here we are. Our kids really wanted this. And we have a great group of seniors. Our first senior class will graduate this year from our school. And they have led the charge. And we're sitting right now at 6-3 with a huge game this Thursday. It's a very good Haynes football team. And if we win, we have a very, very good shot at being in the playoffs. These kids, if you ask me what we attribute to our success to, it's 100% to these kids. We have a great coaching staff who works very hard, but our kids are relentless. And I've said this several times before. Right now, our facilities, our weight room is an outside canopy that we drag weights out to work out. And before I say that, before she yells at me, Dr. Glazer, we do have a beautiful brand new campus being built right now in the corner of Loyola and Vintage. So I'm not knocking. Okay? So, but we don't have a locker room yet. Our practice facility is actually a local playground. It's about a mile from school. Right now, because our beautiful facility is being built, we have kids across 3 different campuses. Our 8th and 9th grade are on a separate campus. We have them bust over to the high school campus and then bust back over to the field in order to just get a practice in. But none of that matters. These kids show up every single day and they don't care about what we don't have. They focus on what we do have. And you know, a lot of people didn't expect us to be here where we are right now, and it's truly a credit to those kids. And I want to close with this. You know, part of our job as coaches, a big part of our job is winning football games. And make no mistake about it, that's what we're here to do. However, it's not what it's all about. My number one goal since I stepped on campus was to make our young men, better productive members of society. And, you know, we want to change these kids' lives. There was a young man in our team that I'll leave nameless, that when he first got here, I wasn't sure if he was actually going to buy into what we're selling. I wasn't sure if he knew quite what it took, like I said, to play high school football. And, you know, after getting to know the young man, I know he had some things at home he was worried about, and, you know, it bothered him sometimes at school. So we kind of, you know, as we do all our kids, as the coaches know, they're our second sons. We took him in, you know, and we just kept working with him, and you can see the improvement in him. He started buying this program. He's played some for us this year as a sophomore. He puts his emotions into things. About last Thursday night, as most of you guys may or may not know, we got beat pretty bad by De La Salle. It was our first loss in over a month. We were riding a 4-game winning streak, and it was the first true adversity that our kids that they faced, and they're really young right now. We have about 6 freshmen and about 9 sophomores who are starting for us right now. So, you know, when the game was over, of course, anytime you get beat like that, as a coach, you take it to heart, the kids take it to heart, and, you know, but I was really more focused on how our kids were going to react. Am I going to lose them? Or are they going to, you know, are they going to fold? Or are they hurting? Are they so upset that they can't move on? They can't see how big of a game we have next week? And I was really just worried about them as a whole. So I go home that night, I'm sitting on my couch, and I'm just thinking about what can I do to keep these kids up? You know, what I need to do. And all of a sudden my phone rings, and I get a message that comes through from this same young man I was just telling you about, who, keep in mind, you know, 12 months earlier, I didn't think he'd still be here. And he said, "Coach, I just want to let you know something." He said, "I know you're the one helping me out. I know our coaching staff is helping me out, but I want you to know that we have your back. We have the coach's back. We're here to fight. We're not done. We're hurt, but we're moving forward starting tomorrow." And right then and there, after I wiped the tears, of course, right then and there, I realized that we are changing these kids' lives. And as a coach, that's what we want to do, and that's our main goal. Thank you guys so much for having me today. I'd love to take any questions that you have.
Raise your hand if you have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, don't fall in here. Have to call Attorney Roe Brown. Boy, good luck with that lawsuit. You wind up paying. Coach, can you talk about like the biggest challenge to this whole thing?
You know, aside from the facilities and all that, it was really just getting our kids to buy in. And once they did, like I said, I knew we had something special. These kids, some of them hadn't played football in 4 years, some of them ever. And they just came in and thought that it's going to be, you know, they're going to play football. But as we all know, it's a lot more than that that goes into high school football. Once we turn that around, that's what attributes to our success. It doesn't matter the facilities. Of course, having facilities is great. We need them. We'll get there. But that's not what our focus was. It was building these kids and making them believe in our coaching staff and believe in this program. And I think we've done that. Great. Thank you, guys. I'm sorry.
Wait, coming from Curtis, are you going to run the beer? Is that what you're running?
We're not running the veer. No. I tell you, the veer is very effective. Obviously, we're actually playing a veer team this Thursday. However, we for the personnel that we have, it's probably not conductive to run the veer. But it's always in the back of my mind. Always. Anybody else? Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.